Now this is from, he wrote a book of poetic devices, too. One of the only ones from this period that also was recopied and copied over again. And so this is his little poem about the figure antithesis, which he describes in this way. Antithesis is when a passage is composed of opposing ideas in this way. So here's the Latin. I'll stress where the rhymes are so you can hear that a little bit. In luctu rides inter convivia luges, mane petis lectum dimitis vespere tectum, pax est arma fremis, bellum pro pace precaris, cum deves clamare taces, cum parcere clamas, urbem rure cupis, laudas bona ruris in urbe. That part was not rhymed. So here's the way I've translated this. You laugh at wakes, at dinner parties your heart breaks. Come dawn, you ask to stay abed, but toss your covers off at dusk. Peace makes you cry for your spear, war makes you pray for peace in fear. Time to speak out, your tongue's tied. Time to shut up, you shout. Down on the farm, you miss the city. In town, you praise rural charm. So, my Latin pronunciation is not the best, that's
Does anybody else have a question? Yes.
I have a question about your writing process. So did you ever find any themes or ideas that you really wanted to write about particularly difficult, and whether or not it made it into the book, how did you work through that kind of resistance of idea to thought on the page?
Up to this point, I don't think I've written anything that didn't come with tremendous resistance and desire to write something else. When I was a kid, I wrote a lot of sci-fi, and it was so easy to write 10 or 15 pages a day and just write about all kinds of things. But at some point, I decided to write things that were difficult, and so it's been difficult. So my first book was a lot about grief and loss. The second book, which was all short stories, has a lot to do with violence, healing, and transformation, but none of it's easy. This book was really not easy, and I think I burned myself out for a little while after I wrote the first draft of it. The work I'm doing now isn't easy either, but it isn't, I don't know, I'm maybe not far enough into it yet to see how hard it's going to be. So I still have hope for the new stuff, for it being a different experience. But there's an example that I bring up a lot in a workshop that I do that's actually about writing the difficult. And that's, and so for me, it's kind of what I keep going back to, and I think I brought this the other week too, is to think of writing as boxing. Because it's the only thing I can think of where people jump into a ring, get hit, fall down, and get back up. And when I think about it, that's what writing is. It's you have to learn how to roll with the punches. And you have to learn how to, keep on fighting. But then also, it's also helpful to look at that because, boxers don't go in alone. They've got a whole support team. They've got their coach. They've got people in the audience. They've got, somebody bringing them water and a towel. They've got their fans. They do a rigorous training. A boxer doesn't just go in after, eating a pizza and hanging out on a boat all day. They've trained. And I think writers can look at that way too, how you train to build toughness in yourself. Because I think, when I wrote a lot of things earlier, they were devastating to do. But over time, you get tougher. It's not necessarily that you build calluses. I think it's just you're more able to take the punch and it not stop you. So I think for me, that's how I approach it. It's about being ready mentally and emotionally and psychologically to get back in the ring every time, so that I can write something real. Because, commercial or not, successful or not, whatever else, for me, I've defined my purpose in writing is to write the most difficult and hopefully something that only I can bring. And the easy, everybody can bring to the table. But everyone's difficult, I think, is unique. And so my job is to bring my difficult to the table. So yeah, so that's how I end up approaching that. Oh, and then how you get past yourself doing that. There's actually a book by Gail Scher, who is a Buddhist nun, who writes, I think it's a book called One Continuous Mistake. And she writes about how you write everything, but then when you revise it, when you purify it, when you make it, when you distill and concentrate what you're doing, that in a way you end up burning away all the remnants of yourself. So that what you personally were, the gunk of you, is not there anymore. It's the essence of it that's put forward. So I found that really helpful.
So Ire'ne and Alan, thank you so much for coming here and joining me tonight and joining all of us and being here at Malvern Books. Please check out Ire'ne's new book. It's for sale right here, and I'm sure that Fernando Chandra will be more than happy to sell you copies of those books. I also have a couple of books if you're interested. So, and thank you all again for coming. Every fourth Tuesday of the month, this is what we do. So please join us again. Thank you.
Thank you.